There we go. My mic decided it was going to be super random and not work. Anyway, hopefully that's all working right. How you guys doing? Happy Wednesday. It's another paint and chat. We're hanging out. I've got a project I feel like I can handle. There's like 3 to 4 colors on here. So I feel really confident today in my ability to handle this. Now you may be wondering, what is a Plushie Gorghadra? Obviously, Gorghadra. As Samuel was wondering, as I wondered when I first got it, because I haven't played Monsterpocalypse. Well, it's apparently this dear fellow. So if you play Monsterpocalypse, which is another Privateer Press game, it's not War Machine, this is just a beat things up in the city kind of game. I haven't played it. That's Gorghadra, which is like a plant eater faction monster. And here is the adorable plushy chibi version of him. Admittedly, I'm not really a fan of chibi typically, but the figure does look pretty cool. I think he's kind of cute in his little way. So, yeah, that's where I'm going. Let's see here. So, hello to everybody in the chat. Who all is here? We've got Samuel, thank you very much for pointing out the very valid question of who is this little guy. Paul, thank you as always for being here. Actually, I have to embarrass Paul here in just a minute, so we'll do that. Todd, welcome. Saint Mac Attack, I appreciate you being here. Austin, good to see you. Achilles Rain, I don't know why I have trouble with your name, but I appreciate you being here as well. Christian, good to see you. So, it's a kaiju simulator. There you go. That's probably the best description of it. So, my birthday is next Wednesday, and Paul had sent me a gift, which he's very generous and likes to paint miniatures for me, and then he does like this amazing job, and then I'm too embarrassed to send him anything back. So this year, for my birthday, I got this sweet guy. Check out the incredible details. So this is Paul in the chat, so like feel free to throw all the compliments at him. You can check out the amazing work on the scrolls, the litanies, the thingies that you stamp onto the armor. And then Boulder, great work on the hammer. You can see his face, he's got all this detail. Those eyes are, I think they're purple because, can you guess what his hair color is? Cape is purple, but nice two-tone with the black underneath. Excellent cut out of the details on his kneecaps, and gosh, GW models are so tiny, so very thin, because everything's plastic, so it can be so skinny, but he did a great job, right? So, thank you very much, Paul. I really appreciate this. I will treasure him. He'll go up on the box behind me where he can actually stay safe. So, meanwhile, thank you guys. Your mic is loud, it's peaking a bit. Oh, let me turn down the gain. Ooh, that should be a little nicer. A little easier on you guys. Well, I can also just pull that down. There. Less peaking. Normally I'm too quiet, so there you go. I guess while Paul can answer any questions as far as any modifications, I'm assuming this guy is as is out of the box, right? Oh, congratulations, Christian, and happy birthday, mid-April. We might chat before then. I'm glad you're old enough to finally drink legally at a bar. Unfortunately, such ceremony was always wasted on me. Enjoying my Arnold Palmer tonight. I have no idea why I'm so loud, so I apologize for that, but hopefully that's a little better now. I have a birthday in April too. Well, mine's the very last day of March, so it's like just barely not April Fool's Day, because I think I was born in the evening on March 31st too. So there you go. No, dude, it's the same microphone, but well, now I've done a live stream since I did the short film, because there was some stuff I recorded there. My computer, so we had a random snowstorm here in Albuquerque, and my part of town got an actual blizzard, and the rest of Albuquerque got rain. And and it knocked the power out for a couple hours. And so I don't know if like the computer restart and refreshing everything like made everything come through extra loud. I don't know, but hopefully that's a little better. Hello, Condiment Studio, good to see you. Did you change to bi-weekly streams, or do I keep missing them? I did change to bi-weekly streams. I did it late last year because the weekly thing was becoming way too much of a drain on my schedule, which I'm feeling with all of my weekly obligations. So, okay, so jumping into Plushie Gorghadra. This is mini crate number 41. Actually, I'm really excited for the one next month, and I know, just don't listen here. I'm just gonna cover his ears while he is. But the one for next month, the blighted Bo Peep, kind of niche shepherd. That's a Bo Peep. Freaking awesome looking. Like, I can't wait to get that one. So that'll be definitely what I'm gonna paint on the stream. So, yes. Yes, fellow Aries. Yep, that's me. So this is the guy I'm painting today. I've picked out a few colors. I decided to sort of clean up my work area too because I didn't like the feeling of reminding myself of Dennis Nedry every time I got to my computer. And this, you really can't even see everything of how bad it is. I still need a proper red, so I've got my Cadoran red for the little eyeballs, which always needs a nice undercoat of brown. So that's basically the two red colors. Have Thamar Black that I'm using today. And then I picked these. Oh my god. Dang metal miniatures. It just flew out of my Citadel case. It's like, I don't like you, GW. I'll escape. He was trying to flap away. Moving that. A few colors. So because he's primarily like this orange, yellow, red critter, I picked a few of these colors to start with. So I've got a very yellow, which is this meaty ochre. Get it? It's the main reason I like these paints. Ember orange, which I think actually will be a really good mid-tone. And then I've got this Cador red highlight, which is basically an orange, to kind of fill in on this guy. So I was wondering about actually blending a little bit. He's also got little green gems on him, and so I'm debating between the colors, but because he's so bright and poppy, I kind of am leaning toward the Necrotite green because it's essentially a neon green. My other favorite is the Iosian green, but I think that's going to be a little too serious and has more blue in it than I'd like, so I think I'm going to go with the Necrotite green. We're going for a bright, poppy model tonight. Meaty ochre? No, meaty ochre. It's so great. Meaty, like you eat meat, and then mediocre. It's so good. They've got a lot of really good ones in here, especially on the orange. I guess the yellows mostly. Hey, Sam Hinchy. Glad to be here. I haven't caught a live show in months. Fair enough. Miranda, can you clean up my shop area? Dude, you do not want to see my house. Like, it's basically just a factory. Between miniatures and like sewing, plus my 3D printer, plus every other craft happening in this house, it's like I just don't invite people over. Anywho. To answer, going back to this lovely thing that I cannot take credit for, this is all Paul, before you decide to be impressed with me. It's totally Paul doing all that. It says, the model from Miranda was Black Library Event, if I remember. It's all standard Terminator, Chaplain, Tarentus. It looks like nothing I painted. Okay. Meaty. Exactly. It's so great. Shelves and shelves and shelves. Shelves and like Tupperware. Have you ever seen, so this is how I'm containing my painting collection. The very useful boxes. These things are great because they're sort of indestructible, so if you fall down on them, then you've only injured yourself. And they stack. They're kind of pricey, but I turned out to have inherited a bunch. Whoops, that was graceful. So use those clear Tupperware bins for all, or clear like Rubbermaid bins for a whole bunch of stuff that you're not actively working on. A bigger house if you can do that. Anyway. Man, that sounds productive. I wish. Well, we'll see. So that's what I'm getting started on. So I was debating the color I wanted to start with him on. So even though this is Khador red highlight, I am probably actually going to use this as the base coat and then blend into some of this orange and then maybe do a slight blend of, maybe, I don't know if the mediocre is going to work out. It's very mustardy. But I like it. Look at that. It really kind of blends pretty dang well, doesn't it? More than that one. I wonder if I should just go over all of this. Just make him a mediocre model. And if you can't tell, there's actually a different color here in the center. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, I've decided. We're going. We're doing this. Also, one of the few models I haven't actually based, so I haven't figured out what I want to put him on because I haven't gotten that far. I was just excited to have a mini to paint. Really useful boxes. Yes, I bought so many of those. They're so great. And stackable. Yes, amazingly stackable. You have to watch the size. Now, the sizes are actually pretty well designed. So if you get like a size smaller than the one I just showed you, you could stack them perpendicular on top. Two of the smaller boxes will fit on the same footprint as one of the larger ones. So you actually have like proper stacking. It's not just, where boxes kind of hang on the lip of another one. And my house is totally full of boxes right now. So that's the other thing, because, yeah, so. Thoughts I have similar ones? Yeah. If clutter really bothers you, the present state of my room in the office would give you a heart attack. I've had to live with it for quite a while, so it's just one of those things that once I am able to finally get things into proper organized space, like a studio or workshop or something like that, then I just will ban anything else being in my house. Be like, no, that lives at the studio. So 17 liter are our mainstays. There you go. So I'm just shaking up this paint really well. Although maybe I should get that red on there on the underside. I'm already questioning myself. So it's cute because he's got these little, focus here in a second. You can see the stitch lines because he's a plushie. So that'll be fun. We'll figure out his colors. We'll get there. I'm gonna put brown on the underside of him there. Is this mini just for Monster Apocalypse, or is it used in War Machine Hordes? I would so no, it's not a War Machine Hordes model. It just won't have any rule set that works in it. But it could make kind of a cute shredder, like a proxy model for a shredder. If you had the Blighted Cauldron or whatever, and you're running around popping out little lesser monsters, that can be pretty good. Alright, so we're going to get not his feet, just this amount of him. What does the grown-up version of you look like? Oh gosh, you're way fancier. Yeah, we're going with simple colors. Clutter is just a design concept. I appreciate your positivity there, John. Also, Miranda Ashley says hi. She can get her hair dyed as for how short her hair is. The place was going to charge $120 to cut and dye. I wonder if I can put her in touch with my hairdresser. Maybe get her a little bit of a hookup or something. Poor thing. I know she was looking forward to that. It's so crazy. So my friend Ashley, who I know through Media Glitch, that is too small, is a streamer, and she's like huge video gamer, like way into that, much more than I am. And Paul goes and works on, helps mod her channel and all of that in her streams. And literally, that's literally how we say hi to each other, is through Paul. I haven't talked to the girl in ages. Because, when I see her, it would usually be at a convention or something, and we haven't had one of those in a while. So, kind of a thing. So it's hilarious, we say hi through Paul. I need to, if I hook her up with my hairdresser, maybe she can give me the proper review on how her deprivation chamber went. Is it not deprivation? Those stasis chambers. Is it deprivation? Sensory deprivation, that's right. You guys ever used a sensory deprivation chamber? I never have, but I'm super curious because it sounds lovely. I feel like his tail is a different color. I'm just gonna go with that. Just think of the way like a little stuffed animal would be put together. And all these different seams. Now, he doesn't really have a seam there, so it doesn't fully make sense, but it's fine. His seams are clearly fashionable anyway, the loud stitches he's got. So, I'm painting brown because red is going over it, and this blood tracker brown is my new favorite brown color because it makes such a great base coat for everything. And this is working out really well because this model was legit primed about 2 minutes before the stream started. Well, it was drying. I guess it was primed like 30 minutes ago after the blizzard. You know, it just happens sometimes. We'll check the chat in just a second, but I'm actually almost done with little boy here. Here we go. The first color is on. Yay! Wow. One coat. That's also super nice. I don't suppose it's supposed to be a large doll for the Dreamer. Well, do you get a 30 mil base version of that? Is it a small, medium, large base that the Dreamer has? Maybe so. If that's the case, then yeah, totally use it as a proxy. Like, what kind of jerk are you if you're like at the other end of the table at a War Machine game and they're like, oh, I don't want you to use that proxy model? Like, it's fine. I prefer the term organized chaos. Well, I'd be a liar to hope that it was somehow organized. I've been happy to sort of consolidate things to general areas. But we don't have to talk about what a slub I am, so. Let's see, how far would you travel to attend a safe convention? Haven't tried sensory deprivation, but I love good mushrooms. See, I don't do the whole drug thing. I've never been into that. But like the little chamber, it's just Epsom salt and water. So I'm like, okay, this seems fine. And I like the idea of just like quiet for a while because I feel like my life is very loud. So, Joe Rogan is a big proponent of sensory deprivation chamber and DMT. I know. I like listening to his interviews, but Joe Rogan is his limits, I guess. I like some things, yeah. Let's see, I've been denied a proxy once. It was at a tournament event, and the guy needed to win. See, and that's when that behavior comes out, which is always annoying, quite frankly. Basically, I don't care for that. Especially since it's like, if that's the thing that you think is going to be the win or loss for you, then you probably weren't winning anyway. But what am I going to say? Say that as a modeling. Avoid Arcana as a proxy. I just want to go to conventions again anyway. I'm really hoping that becomes, a totally normal thing that we can do this year. Isn't that the whole point of this vaccination stuff? Like, everybody gets it, so now we can go live our life, please? Plus, I had COVID and got over it, so I'm not exactly worried about it for me. And so for conventions, I'm, I guess, less concerned in that regard. But I know that Adapticon got canceled this year. I don't know what's going to happen with, the later in the year conventions. Has there been any word on Gen Con or Nova or any of those? Because I'd be curious. Alright, so we're getting the red on there. So that brown gives it a nice, deep, lovely red. women's tournament, expect those people there. So it depends. Because I've played in and the name of it was friendlies tournament, right? So maybe that's the cue some people need. I don't know. But it was a doubles tournament. So me and my friend Aaron, who you know from Cool Guys Nation, he and I played in a Warhammer 40k doubles tournament, which was like all day. But everybody was super, super nice. Like from game to game, people were really casual about it. And it was I guess the term friendlies tournament means you're not being a jerk to each other. One of the things you're scored on is like sportsmanship and, you know, did you make your army pretty, which is not a problem or a rare thing in the Warhammer community. But so it's nice. But then I've also been in those tournaments too, where people are like, no, I won't give you anything, no quarter. Okay. I mean, you did ask me for a take back earlier, and I gave that to you, but you know, whatever, it's cool. It's cool. But, yeah, my days of running around and really trying to be competitive is, there are better things to do with my time. He's wearing a red suit, and he's so cute. Can't say I'm a fan of the... oh, whatever. Like, literally, it was listed as an alt sculpt for the large phantasm. Ah! Well, there you go. Unless I'm actually losing my mind and just filled that in myself, which is possible. Gen Con has been rescheduled to September now. And online only. And Nova is canceled. Oh. And it's going to be both live and virtual hybrid with some room for adaptation based on where we are then. Phoenix Fan Fusion is moved from May to December. Yeah, they're all hedging their bets. Later in the year you get, like, hopefully that's the better luck, right? Have to head out to work. Hey, Jeremy, sorry I didn't see you there, man. Well, have a good time at work. Stay warm. Some people have zero chill at tournaments. I know. Personally, I started to get fussy after 3 proxies. It's hard to keep straight what's on the table. So, okay, I get that. But in the War Machine world, like, the other thing that you're forced to sort of forgive all the time is I just sort of took this out of the friggin' box and barely glued it to the base. It's not assembled. Here you go. It's a legal model. You're like, I will take a proxy model that's painted and completed over that any day of the week. But as far as number of proxies, yeah, if you are actually having your game impacted because you can't remember what's what, then that's just kind of annoying. But one proxy here or there, or a very comparable model because you're, worrying about base size, come on, don't be rude. It's like, I don't know, not the reason I play these games. Interesting fact, according to research, 9 out of 10 people didn't notice when a random word is swapped for a musical instrument. Okay. Well, isn't there a whole thing about, like, people only pay so much attention? There's, like, the active listening thing where people will mostly not hear what you say and will fill in the blanks on what they think you mean. And you see those come up on Facebook all the time where people will post a meme of something that sounds one way, like really, really strong or bossy or something. And it's not because it starts off really strong and they use like a polite word versus a like the word that you would assume it was. I don't know. I'm being very vague there, but yes, people mostly don't listen. They mostly interpret. That is a very common thing. Hey, Siobhan. Oh, no. I'm going to get that out. Will nails work? Do I have enough nail? Uh-oh. I'm stuck. Metal object, help me. Alright. Still trying to schedule my appointment for a vaccine shot here in New York, which has made me appreciate the efficiency of the New York DMV. Ooh. I'm totally not possibly playing a kill team game in my backyard tomorrow. Both vaccinated and both without symptoms in the open air. Well, I mean, I can't imagine you being much safer than that. At some point, you've got to still live your life, man. How did I do that? Alright, well, I could just do it this way. This thing has decided to give me grief. So I will just separate the seal from on the top half only, essentially. That's super annoying and weird. Competitive games are garbage anyways. Hey, Chiffon. Just remind yourself that in 1998, The Undertaker threw mankind off Hell in a Cell into the Spanish announcer table. I will basically always remember that for as long as I live, Siobhan. So thank you for that kind of strange gift that you've brought into the world. I still think I actually saw that when it happened, because I used to be all into wrestling back in the day when I was a teenager, and I thought wrestling was super cool. And I liked mankind. Most things will open up by the end of the year, but millions of people have made it clear that they're not taking any vaccine. Well, to each his own. Let's see, the weather's getting good. Yay! I've been having breakfast outside. Well, we had a beautiful, lovely, warm day, and then it literally blizzarded. It was crazy and wild. Let's see how mediocre it looks. Let's see. Is any more War Machine things going off, or is Kador taking a break? I've always wanted to start, but I haven't. At the moment, I'm 40k and Sigmar. Well, you probably have your hands full there. There's plenty of stuff coming out in the Warhammer world. As far as I know, War Machine's still going strong, I assume. Oh, do I want to do that? Yeah, I do. I'm not ready to paint this one yet, sorry. We're going to wait. We're going to instead use Ember Orange. But I am happy to have spring weather. Mostly happy. There are deadlines that have me in just a general panic, but that's not really anybody else's fault except mine. I stink at the game, so I play to watch my painted models do stuff. I saw a model on my mini factory today that I would 100% use to proxy Lord of the Feast because it was so good. Oh, wow. Oh, Nathan Lazy Bear. Oh, I already read your comments. I thought you were painting a squig or Santa Claus. Yeah! It's a little big for a squig, but yeah. Get a nice sharp hobby knife. I know, but it's not here in front of me. I can't just go abandoning my chat, abandoning you guys, so that I can wander around looking for where I've probably misplaced one of my 14 sharp X-Acto blades. You're pretty much done with the competitive scene? For now. It's just, mostly due to I have too many other things to do. And, the competitive scene is all well and good, except the fact that you need to be showing up and practicing all the time, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, basically as far as that goes, good. Alright, we get to keep him right in the lines. We're going to have to do a little bit more coverage on this. Look at that. It's not fully coating over the gray. So we'll have to be careful. I used to go live pro wrestling. Saw Andre the Giant several times. Aw, he seemed like such a good guy. I saw the Bushwhacker tag team live once. So fun. I love wrestling, and it's such an interesting form of storyteller in theater. Did you guys ever see the Max Landis Wrestling Isn't Wrestling YouTube series of videos. I found it to be quite charming. Because he goes back to the days when I was watching wrestling, and he talks about all these different characters and how that story is told. And, you know, it's very soap opera-like, you know, you can't... that is the formula, but it's kind of fun. And then another movie about that kind of thing is Fighting with My Family. I quite enjoyed that movie too. And it's about this girl trying to get into wrestling, which I guess was based on a true story, which would have been after I stopped watching, but very cool all the same. And The Rock's in it. Oddly enough, my brother went to school with a pro wrestler and hangs out with him all the time at conventions. His name is Xavier Woods or something. Huh. There you go. Speaking of film, Miranda needs to see Time Cop and all its 90s Van Damme epicness. For sure. Good night, Kahneman. Hope I probably already missed it. The way you describe that, you sound like an old war veteran who's seen things. Let's see, Asuka is my favorite. Green Mist and Asuka locks are too buff? She also has a pile of wrestling belts. Oh, goodness. Too strong? What is that emoji? I'm not super versed in emoji language. I don't know the hieroglyphics, I'm sorry. I'm assuming you mean something strongy. Well, clearly, he will need some more layers of this, because that is not okay. Just streaky, messy. Ah. My Death Guard Codex is still in a shipment crate in Germany import customs. Ooh, sadness. So sorry. Time Cop is good. Also has Mia Sarah Bay. But I would go with Kickboxer or Bloodsport as my all-time favorite Van Damme. I used to watch Van Damme films as a kid, but they would be on TV, so I couldn't tell you the name of them because it was just, you know, Van Damme running around kicking people and doing the splits and then commercial break. Yeah, Wrestling Isn't Wrestling is a great video. It really captures the heart of the storytelling. Right? It reminded me, like, oh yeah, that thing I used to do isn't actually embarrassing. It's really charming. Yay, me. Although, can't say I'm really embarrassed with my hobbies, but digressing again. Getting caught in the weeds. I mean, I just don't really tell people about, like, my miniature hobby, mostly because, like, there's so much that would have to go into explaining it. Although there's a fair bit of, like, oh, you ever heard of Warhammer? You know, the video games? Yeah, it's something like that. Something. Which is why Privateer needs to put out more video games. So I can be like, yeah, you know that Iron Kingdoms world? That. They can be like, oh, that's awesome, because it is. But what do I know? Oof, you're still kind of messy. Have you seen Glow on Netflix? Yes! Glow definitely captured my heart. It's probably one of my favorite TV shows with female ensemble cast, because they actually act like real human beings, and which is funny for a show as ridiculous as Glow, but they do. They did a good job writing women. I was like, oh my gosh, you did this right. What's even happening right now? So, yes, I'm a fan of Glow. Season 3 got a little meh, but first season is amazing. Yeah, it's based off Paige, who was a really great Roman wrestler. Nice. Also, Nowhere to Run has my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme line. Double Impact has it. What's the line, Christian? Van Damme and then commercial breaks seems like quality television. I just watched a lot of stuff on TV. I also had this weird obsession with Night of the Living Dead and Total Recall. Those were the things I wanted to watch as a kid. And then sometimes Matilda. Kids have weird taste. I could never get an interest in wrestling. It was just never my interest. It's completely fair. I feel that way about most things anymore. I'm like, do I have to put a lot of work into learning this? I kind of had that feeling the other day. My friend Flo, I went and visited her, and she had a few friends over, and they were playing board games. And it's like, oh, do you want to play this game? I'm like, do you have to learn it? There's this, like, just disinterest in, like, having to, because there's so many board games, and it's like, oh, when you go to board game, if you know, back when board game nights were a thing, it's like, oh, learn this new thing you'll play once, and then next week it's a whole bunch of new games. I do not know how people keep up with that. That looks exhausting. So, kudos to those who do, which Flo is one of them that does, because she's a crazy person with a good attention span. Alright, so I'm just going over this really diluted water to try and smooth out the paint, because I feel like it got a little, what's the word? Like, it has too much of its own texture. So, I'm just gonna let water do the smoothing for me. Come right around the little belly. Cute little plushie in the belly. There we go. Sorry, I'm probably doing most of that off camera. Anyway, there we go. Just smooth them out a bit. There. Now he looks like, oh my gosh, this looks blown out like crazy. There we go. How's it going? There you go. So he's got his little red suit and sort of this orange cummerbund. So from nowhere to run, a kid catches him looking at a girly mag named Top Heavy. And the kid asks him, you like boobs? And Van Damme deadpan says, sometimes. It's the way he says it. Oh my gosh. I believe it. We spoke about glow, and I was right. Joe Manganiello is in the Snyder Cut for 5 seconds more. Worth it. 4 hours. Ugh, I don't know. I'm on the fence. One, I can't watch the Snyder Cut anyway because I don't pay for whatever service it's on. Is it HBO Max? One of those. But the other is 4 hours? Really, guys? Like, is it that important to try and find a DC film that's worth it? Like, that sounds so much time. And I'm not even afraid of long movies. Like, I'll watch a long movie. I just don't know that there's enough content there for 4 hours. Christian, in Double Impact, it's when he knocks out his brother and gets into an argument with his girlfriend, and he says, you should know I would never in my life be caught wearing black silk underwear. Again, it's the delivery. So I don't really remember Van Damme's acting style, but that does sound perfectly charming. There's a Snyder Cut of glow. Yes! That I would watch! Just want to see. Just everything's got like this darker filter over it, and it turns out like the girls are actually inadvertently opening a hell dimension, fighting for their own sanity. Oh wait, he made that movie already. Alright, putting on our mediocre, our slight shade of different. Now already I feel like I'm kind of hitting my color limit, so we'll see. But here go the yellows. Oh, the yellows, fellas and ladies and all the folks. Here's hoping this goes on okay. Probably gonna have to multi-coat it. Yellow is a tough color, and I know, yes, there's the argument of putting on a proper undercoat. It's gray, it's fine. It's gonna get another layer anyway, but that satisfaction, just covering this surface with color. So exciting. Do it 4 hours? No. HBO Max, and it was watchable for me and the wife. Probably should not admit it, but I like the new Total Recall with Beckinsale and Farrell. I don't think I've seen that. Hello everyone. Hey Larian. Agreed, Maria. The main reason I didn't get into Hordes is that my hobby club are all about Warhammer, At the time, I couldn't afford 2 armies. That is definitely a thing. Is anyone playing Valheim? I'm learning solo, but is there a good place where I can find trustworthy people to play who won't cheat and suddenly disappear and pull the game server from me? I haven't. I have friends who've played Valheim, but I have not participated at all. It's another one of those damn games to learn. Alright, so we've got 3 distinct colors going on here. Sorry, the model's showing up so hot. Van Damme made an excellent Predator. Like, Predator? Like, Invisible Suit Predator? I liked the new one. It's much more close to the original story. See, I've never read the original story. I just remember liking when the atmosphere machine, like, popped up on Mars, and it's basically the end scene where everyone's face looked funny. I think that's probably what I liked about it as a kid. I should really rewatch that. Although, random, on a really random movie that I watched this last weekend, I think it was Sunday, I watched Kevin Smith's Tusk, and it's surprisingly not bad. Like, it's horrifying, but interesting, I guess? I don't know. It's not my style of movie typically, but I was certainly curious. And man, Michael Parks is an amazing actor. Goodness. I mean, I just love Justin Long anyway, because he's just ever since Galaxy Quest, I just think he's the most adorable actor ever. Even though he's just crass and awful in the movie, like, he does a great job. His character is crass and awful in the movie. So, yeah, Tusk, that's a super weird one. You want to have some weird dreams. The Snyder Cut epilogue was so long. Oh my god. Goes surprisingly fast for a 4-hour movie, at least once you get past the first 10 minutes of slow-mo credits. So is it one of those things I can watch on like 1 1/4 speed? I would cut off like a whole hour. Hollywood went dry for story ideas when Dick died. For me, it was Wednesday. And no more Asimov stories either. Well, I don't know. Have they finished mining out the Tolkien estate? We've got that still. Yes, Miranda, he was the original Predator. He was fired for creative differences. Surprise, he didn't like the original pink dinosaur suit. What are you talking about? So I watched the making of Predator recently, and, like, I saw the dude who plays the Predator. I thought he was always the Predator. Really? What's going on? Cleaning that off there. Aw, man. Took off too much of that red. And that, folks, is the downside to these kinds of cheap paints that I use all the time. So I'm going to have to touch that up. But you'll notice that brown below it didn't fall off. Tusk is awesome. My copy's signed by him. Oh my gosh. Hi, Joel. It is a really surprisingly good movie. It freaked me out. It's super weird, but yeah, it's good. My friend loves Tusk. He called it a love story. It's more like a redemption story, I guess, if you really want to go that way. I am just so impressed with how much the actors went all in. Like, hands down, amazing performances from everybody. Just did such a good job. I don't know. Kevin Smith seems to have a charmed history with people, and you know, he seems very affable, right? So easy to get along with. Apparently, he's friends with Johnny Depp, so. The Predator doing splits on 2 tree trunks side by side just wouldn't cut it. I mean, it depends on what your audience is. Ready Player One is underrated as a film. It was great, and there's a new Netflix one with Tom Hanks. It's a nice drama. News of the World? Really? Ready Player Predator one was alright. It was so full of like Winky Winky references that it got a little stale for me. It's certainly pretty, and it's an interesting concept. Movie I would say is totally underrated, that did not make its money back at the box office because of a lot of problems, is John Carter on Mars. I think that one was a really decent movie. What is it, Edgar Rice Burroughs, so there's your author. They sort of made a movie. They didn't make money, but they made a movie. But that one's Taylor Kitsch, and it was from the late 2000s, I think. I think I still lived in Oklahoma when I saw it. Filling in this guy. There we go. Let's get back here. Jean-Claude Van Damme wore a red suit, used the SFX of the original Predator design, but they changed the creature design to the Predator we now love and know. Went through a lot of hassle getting the Predator right, changing the actors, changing the suits, redesigning the whole thing. Yeah, apparently James Cameron helped with the design of the Predator, just randomly on a flight with the designer for it. And they just sort of like hashed out some stuff on the plane, and then he went off and Predator. The Tremors franchise is another guilty pleasure. I currently own all of them now. They have I think it's a 5-pack of movies now. I don't think I've seen most of them. But it is pretty funny, because the guy who plays Bert lives in New Mexico. Never met him, though. No, I love the original Tremors. It's kind of a perfect movie. It's just, it knows exactly what it is. It executes it perfectly. The actors do a fine job. The story has like a realistic kind of feel to it. And people behave like people. It's not, where Hollywood usually makes fun of people who live out in the sticks and usually has a very elitist, awful, just sort of a mean streak when they talk about them. It's not in Predator. It's not in Tremors. At least not the first one. And I think I saw the second one, because it's like they walk, then they fly. What is it? They swim next. I don't know. It got pretty silly after that, but it's been so long since I saw any of them that maybe they're better than I remembered. That sometimes happens with movies. Silly little dude looking like he's wearing a suit. He's so cute. We'll point out, it's a lot easier to paint a model when you know exactly where all the colors are going to go, and you don't have to make that decision making all on the fly. And then you find yourself stalling for time. If you like Michael Parks, Kevin Smith made a pretty solid thriller with him called Red State, where he plays a cult leader. Yeah, I remember when Red State came out. I have not seen it. There's apparently quite a few Kevin Smith movies I haven't seen. I've seen a lot of his early work. So what is it, like, obviously Clerks, and then Mallrats, which did not age well. Chasing Amy, which I haven't seen in a while. Tusk, Zack and Miri, which was a later one. But yeah, I haven't seen Red State. We'll get around to that at some point. Mostly I've been watching, like, really low-budget indie films have been my little fascination of late. Alright, I feel like I'm about to get a lecture on thinning my paints because I'm getting this really gross texture, and I'm sure that that's because I'm using the paint at too thick a level. So do I need to put some in here and then mix it with water and then do that thing that everybody keeps telling me I should do? Let's not forget, The Predator was directed by John McTiernan, the same guy who gave us Die Hard. That's right. Kevin Smith's story about going to Paisley Park to visit Prince and then asking his assistant about where he gets his basketball shirts from Basically from 10 to 13-year-old kid's apartment. Weird. I used to live a block from Prince before I lived in Paisley Park. We lived in South Minneapolis, and I was a baby, though. Oh, wow, that's awesome. Coincidence, Miranda and I own all the Tremors movies. Well, you should. It's a good, important thing to have in your cinematic collection. There were some proposals for Tremors in space. Start with the newest Tremors and work backwards. You'll get happier with each movie. That is a fantastic idea, Twisted. Tremors was the most expensive movie I owned. We rented from the video store and either broke it or took too long to return it. Ended up getting charged $95 for it. Oh man. Kids these days will never know, man. Except they also don't know what it's like to own things, but that's a separate issue. Wow. So my dad was the type of guy who, or is the type of guy still, he just, hated spending money, which is admittedly a trait I have, for whatever reason, adopted. And so when we were kids, we'd go to the video store, and this is in New York, a little fancy Austining, and we'd go to the video rental place to rent movies like every week, and then he'd have us copy them. I know, this is bad. He'd have us copy them onto freaking regular tapes, right? Like video cassettes on like SLP so that you can get the most out of it. Because it was so efficient. I don't know if we ever once watched a movie again. It was like the principle of the matter. They just hated spending money so much. We were going to get more out of it. It's like such a meaningless thing. Although I did learn a lot about copying videos, and it actually taught me a little bit about how editing worked. Because you could learn, because you knew how to copy from tape to tape, and you could do that with footage you got, and copy from one tape onto like a final master with the shots that you just wanted when you had all your raw stuff on another tape. So that less than amazing experience led to something useful. Fun fact. But yeah, SLP. What a horrible setting. Don't know if you saw The Hunt, but it's a surprisingly good small budget movie. I did see it. Yeah, it was interesting. I liked it. Betty Gilpin is not the actress's name, I believe. She did a great job. She's like of course I know her from Glow, right? So I like her. And so I think that's actually one of the reasons why I ended up watching that movie. Yeah, it's pretty good. There we go. I hope you're all happy. I've thinned my paints and I'm not super in love with the result anyway. Why am I getting so much texture? Alright, so I'm going to need thicker paint on those parts. That's that. Well, this whole head still needs to get painted. Oh yes, the Twin Cities are Minneapolis's biggest city to the west side of the Mississippi River, and St. Paul, the capital city on the east side. Think like Buda and Pest in Hungary. Cops are pulling outside Miranda's father's house right now. So if you recall, back in the day, nobody cared if you copied stuff onto like audio cassettes, because they knew the quality was so bad that you were never going to get like an amazing copy from it anyway, especially if you copied multiple times and you had that generational loss. Then even when you bought cassettes, they only lasted so long because they were selling you this finite technology, just due to the nature of it being a finite technology. Yeah, and then CDs came out, and then there was lossless copying, and then that's when they really cared about copying. They were not a fan of that at that point. But it was cool. It was, I remember back in the day, like when Evangelion was out, and for whatever reason I liked that super weird anime. I don't know that I would like it now. And there were 2 movies that came out, and you could not get them through like Suncoast or any of the places that you would typically buy anime, because there were very few places available to buy it. And so there was this person I found online who made his own subtitled version of the Japanese movies. And so I paid him like, God, I think I paid like $40 at the time or something for both videos. So that was a little bit of a black market deal, I guess. But I wanted to see the movie. I wanted to see how it ended. I was not satisfied. I bought a dual deck VCR just to clone videos. It was made by a company called Go Video. Nice. Alright, I'm about to go watch movie night with people online, watching Jimbo on my recommendation. Enjoy! Have a good night, Christian. We just threw out our Highlander TV series on VHS. The video quality is utterly unwatchable. It's quite a sad story. Since I've been cleaning out my mom's house, she actually had all of the Highlander, or at least I think it was a season of it, on video cassette, and I ended up donating it because I don't even have a way of playing VHSs anymore. But yeah, it was interesting because she went from having, because she also watched the Avengers and she had that on video, VHS, and then upgraded to DVD, and really never went beyond DVD. Like Blu-ray came out, but she didn't care about Blu-ray, like whatever. She wasn't watching it on a 4K TV or anything that made it matter. And, you know, you're watching, like, BBC, so not really going to see a lot. I mean, British television, bless its heart, it just has one quality to it. So much yellow. Oh, my goodness. This moldy ochre, it's meaty ochre. Moldy ochre is a different color. This meaty ochre is not as exciting as I'd hoped. Those Napster guys got their wrists slapped by the authorities for sure. Oh, probably. As a child, I copied the Commodore 64 cassette video games. So on cassette, me and my friend would, we pretended we had our own radio show. And so we would record on the radio, us doing talk radio. No idea if any of those cassettes have survived, but I don't know what nonsense I went on about. But yeah, we basically had our own radio station. It was super fun. Now I guess kids these days just do actual YouTube and then are super depressed when they don't get a bunch of likes. Times change. He's yellow, guys. Oh my god, what do you want, cat? Hi, Mason. She's actually sitting under my feet and not meowing and hollering up a storm. Thank you for that. Let's see here. What if he couldn't speak Japanese and he was just making up the subtitles as he went along? I wouldn't know. I mean, then he succeeded and got me $40, I guess. It's why I would never have a tattoo put on me of a language I didn't know. Because I just feel like you are almost begging for that. And just feel like I'd get trolled. And have paid money for it, which is unpleasant. Alright, so I'm just using this more watered down paint to hopefully get a smoother finish on this yeller. So much yellow. The coverage is always tough with yellows. You can get streaking so easy, even with a stronger yellow like this more mustardy looking one. This meaty ochre color. And no, the puns never get old. Oh man, I missed all of this under part. I have one thing to say. It's better to burn out than fade away. Back in my day, kids these days, I know. In the end, there could only be one. You know, I think I liked the Highlander series. There's so many shows I watched as a kid on TV that, like, I don't know if they've aged well or not. And I kind of am not supremely interested in going back and finding out. Like, I'll rewatch the Avengers because It's just a great show. But even Doctor Who, I'm like, I'm happier with the memory of this than, I don't know, the reality of whatever the show is. Like, it's probably fine, but, you can just live in my memory. That's fine, too. Alright, let's paint his silly tail I've been avoiding. Whatever. Kurgan's best line from Highlander. Looking forward, though, anyone pumped for the Foundation TV series coming out? Foundation TV series? I don't know what you're talking about, sir. No idea. We're just... yeah. Almost there. Gosh, guys, I might be done with this model by the end of this session. Oh my god, that'd be so exciting. Alright, he's got colors all over his body now, and we don't even have to worry about covering any more gray. How lovely. We'll have to fill in a few of his little, I guess, green spots and red spots. He's also got his stitching that I definitely want to make a point of actually painting, because those are the super fun details and they make the model pop, because you're just getting these colors blobbed on there. It's not inherently amazing. Based on the Isaac Asimov books. Yeah. Thank you, Evan. That is a series that I have never started. It's like, is it Robert Heinlein I need to read still? Read some Orson Scott Card, because I enjoyed Ender's Game, I enjoyed Ender's Shadow, but then there's all of the other books from there. Yeah, the Asimov stories I really need to jump into. Also, some of the Edgar Rice Burroughs I can get down with. There's just so many. And I've been reading a lot of nonfiction lately. Alright, I'm going to touch up this red. So anyway, as far as looking forward to that as a series, is that going to be on like a special extra expensive streaming service, or is that going to be on like Netflix? I don't know that Netflix would pay for that. Alright. Yes, Mason, I hear you. As usual. Yeah, he'll definitely look a lot better with a face. Let's work on that. Did not like Orson Scott Card. He was mean. I don't know much about his personal life, but I did like the books. And when it comes to artists, I probably don't agree with most of them. It's like I feel that way about music and all of that. I'm like, whatever you... I like this one thing about you. I'm not going to listen to the rest of you, whatever you have to say. I think it's an HBO series, but I definitely recommend reading Asimov. He's genuinely one of the top sci-fi authors. Oh, for sure. Like, he kind of was the grandfather of that in a lot of cases, was he not? I think he definitely is on my list. I know. It's really hard to have two expensive hobbies and read. I think right now I'm down to, I can read for about half an hour a day. That's like the allotted time I've given myself. 30 minutes a day of reading. So, could definitely be better. So would that be red? Oh, I can use that dark red. Yeah, we'll do that. That'll be great. Okay, great. Other than the super weird Tusk movie, I'm trying to think of anything else I've actually watched recently of note. I mean, I watched like this terrible, made for sci-fi, I guess, made for Sci-Fi Channel fantasy movie, because I'm a big ol' sucker for fantasy, like medieval fantasy and dragons and sorcery and all that, as has been mentioned on this show before. And you guys have given me wonderful recommendations that I have then gone off and saw or watched. Yay, he has green. That makes him way more interesting. Mason agrees too. Bloop. 20 minutes. I think I will be at least close to finishing this guy. That'll be so exciting. Sorry, I feel really tunnel visioned at the moment. I'm like, oh, I can get this done. It's a Unix system. I know this. Michael Crichton was an author I did read. But it was only the Jurassic Park and Lost World books. Although I remember them being so fast to read. Like, whatever it was about his style of writing was just, you flew through it. Where other ones are more of a slog. Bless Tolkien's heart. Although, oddly enough, Mary Shelley, also a breeze to read, even though it's reminds me of Tolkien. I don't know, maybe it was a state of mind thing. Yay, look, he's got green on him. It makes him so much cooler. The Foundation series is on Apple TV, isn't it? Maybe. I don't know that either. When am I getting my Witcher Season 2? Seriously? The Witcher? So, I adore Henry Cavill. Like, he's delightful. So wasted in The Witcher. I could not get past how much they absolutely squandered his character and took very strange directions with the show. And, you know, I haven't read the books or even played the video games, even though I own Witcher 3, but just never got around to it. It's coming, though, not sure. Has to be soon. I like how you said bloop when you dipped your bush. It's nice to know I'm not the only one who makes painting sounds when I paint. Dude, you should see me edit. There are so many sound effects. It's even a thing, like, when people watch me, like, just at work, if I'm doing stuff on the computer, because I don't even realize I'm doing it, so I don't know how much I'm entertaining myself. But, yeah, that's the thing. Lots and lots of sound effects. That's a play. So I'm getting that brown undercoat. And then he's going to have little red eyes, and he's going to be so cute. So cute with your little red eyes. And then brown. Oh, look, I already have brown out, and that'll be his stitching. Ta-da! Oh, that worked out so lovely. Oh, need to be a little more careful. Forrest, hello, welcome. Just got off work. Well, hopefully if you feel like it, feel free to hang out for the next 20 minutes of me painting stitches, because that is exactly the next step that has to happen. Which is actually one of my favorite things. I love painting rivets on War Machine models. It's so zen-like. We'll see if I don't get frustrated here. I've only had 2 cups of tea today, so not too much caffeine in my system. Not drinking any Earl Grey at the moment. Go. Alright, there's those stitches. They're not the super obvious ones. We'll get to some more obvious ones that you guys can enjoy. Hi, Melinda. Yes, this does seem like a miniature that's more up your alley. Like your adorable, like shredder unicorn that you made for, your Tyrannidicorn. Melinda Beavers in chat, by the way, is my illustrator friend. So she... And I don't know if you remember from Facebook, gosh, it would have been more than a year ago. She made this adorable Tyrannid unicorn. A unicornid? Is that what we went with? There were a few names that bounced around, but I think it was a unicornid. Good times. Also, it blizzarded here, and I still blame you because you are currently in Colorado, and that just, you know, I thought you sent this blizzard to me. So now we're getting a little bit more of his stitch work to show up. Which makes him have, you know, depth. I want to know about this unicornid. It was amazing. I'll see if I can find it and repost it. I was playing War Machine with a dude named Morgan, and halfway through my second turn I caught myself with Mario stuck in my head, and he added 2. We couldn't figure out who started it first. Excellent. Your mic is a bit saturated. Yeah, apparently it's running hot tonight. I don't exactly... I've turned down the gain on it, so I'll keep it lower. I just haven't, I don't know. I probably needed to restart OBS or something again before I left. Hi, Cool Guys Nation. I was talking about you a while ago about our days in the Warhammer 40k doubles friendly tournament. About people being friendly in tournaments as opposed to not. Let's see here. Painting things like rivets really makes a model come to life. Oh, I know. It's one of the most satisfying things to do. I know how you feel about the rivets. I love painting teeth on Tyranids. Definitely zen-like. Good thing for me, they have so many. Have you watched Butcher, Baker, Nightmare Maker? No. But I will. I know. So, okay, has anybody in the chat, other than Joel, seen Butcher, Baker, Nightmare Maker? Because there's that one, and then was Sleepaway Camp another one of them? I was telling my friend Flo that we need to have a movie night. And she's my go-to gal for watching horror. So, although I guess Butcher Baker is somewhat horror. Your ABQ standards of the blizzard is so far below. No, we had an actual blizzard. All the wind and snow is blowing sideways. My tree has an inch of snow along the entire length of its trunk. That is a blizzard. Hey, Thomas Gravel, good to see you. Oh yes, Henry Cavill, dang it. One of these days I'll say it right. I'm sure he has an apartment in South Kensington. You have to watch Sleepaway Camp. I know. So maybe double feature, Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker, and Sleepaway Camp. Both of them will get it done. But yes, the intention is absolutely there. No, I haven't done it yet. I'm a bad person. I know. I'll fix it. The next time I see you, Joel, I will have seen it. That I should be able to keep up with. How's quarantine treating you anyway, man? Says, always so satisfying. I just need to time lapse this. Look at that. You saw the first 10 minutes of Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. So that's more than most. 1 inch, enough said. Oh, quiet, Melinda. It's still a lot. That's literally going against gravity. And yes, it was all gone by the afternoon, but it was a frustrating morning. I don't live in the desert, so I can deal with that. That's the point. Hi, Mando. Welcome to the chat. A movie night without me? I don't know. Come on down. You're always invited. That piece looks great. Yeah, he's coming along, you know, kind of matching his image-ish. Yeah. It's good. I finished the VFX shots for the Netflix movie today, so I feel free. Oh, good. It's always nice to get that, like, sense of accomplishment and stress behind you. Mm. 10 more minutes. Can I get all the rivets done in time? That is a question, because this is the type of thing you've got to pay enough attention to that you don't miss the rivets, because otherwise you end up skipping spots that you don't realize how you managed to skip. So, or sometimes you blot it on too thick. Dang it. But either way, this is nice. So yeah, I need to figure out the movies, but we'll get through it. Some rivets along the back. If you can keep the right brush distance, you can keep a fair bit of paint on the brush, because the stitch here is a raised point. So as long as you're not pushing down too far, we were getting below it onto the model itself, then you're good to go. Love it. I'll also be reaching out to you soon. Yes, I got an email today, actually, so I'm going to be working on that tonight, Joel. So, we'll see. I'm gonna do my best. But I've been researching, so we'll see. Do you sculpt these characters? I wish. No, this is a model from a company called Privateer Press. They make mini crates, which is a monthly subscription to a miniature. And apparently this cute little blurb that I just now noticed. There you go, variant of the Dreamkin. Oh, it actually says it. That was said in the chat earlier. Anyway, yes, miniature, haha. And it's a new sculpt every single month, and then they destroy the mold when they're done, so they're sort of limited run models. They're all metal, white metal, so that is what you get when you get one, but super cute. So I'm painting this one, which is a model based off a character from Monster Apocalypse, but apparently is a proper proxy model for War Machine Horde's Warlock. So there's that. I am now more informed for having read. It's usually the case, right? Thanks, Joel. It was literally on the card. I'm not crazy. No. I was just too busy looking at one side of the card and not looking. So thank you, Todd. You caught it. Good job. Oh my god, that's hilarious. It's just what happens, man. Almost there. Cool. Okay, so we've got little rivets. Oh, no, we gotta get the little rivets along the edge of his, what look like rocket boosters? I was Googling to find something official that said it and couldn't find an official PP blurb. Dude, I couldn't find like an image of this model as just a plain old model on the internet. And Privateer usually posts their mini crates, and they have the one for next month. I have one from, a couple months back. They didn't have one for this particular month. And I was like, oh, that's not helpful. So I was going to try and change my thumbnail and make it look more professional, but it's really hard to do when you only do your thumbnail in the last 20 minutes before you stream. Alright. Rivets accomplished. Let's paint his eyes red and call it good. Wow. Not intended for human beings, some global destruction and or otherworldly nightmares may occur. Variant of the Grimkin Dreamer Warlock's 40mm base. Phantasm from Hordes. Red. We're looking for red. Alright. We're just about ready to call it here, so here's going to be his finishing touch. I'm going to get this red on his eyeballs. Call it good. Wow, this is a much simpler figure than I have been choosing. It's quite nice. I also didn't have to do a base, so that makes a difference to an extent. Alright, paintbrushes down. Here we go, guys. Ta-da! So he is pretty much complete. He needs basing. Yes, this is true. I might just put him on I might just paint the base white just to kind of make it more of a clean space for his little sci-fi world. Maybe this will encourage me to get the Dreamer at some point. But she's like a $50 warlock, so it's been a little disheartening. These little spots of green. I'm so glad I went with the Necrotite green. That is the perfect green for him. And then his little rivets. He's so cute. He just looks like a little monster. Aww. I still think he'd make a better proxy for a Shredder, but what do I know? It drives you to work on these miniature characters. I have them, and I enjoy hanging out with people here, and painting has been one of the few centering things I've been able to do in the last year, and so I've grown to appreciate it immensely. Is that a gingerbread rhino you're painting? Approximately a gingerbread rhino. He's got one of those candy-coated shells, though, like that weird liquid you pour on ice cream that hardens into a shell. That's what he's got. He's so cute. I feel all proud of myself. I made it look like the picture. Approximately. Yeah. That's a success, guys. That's a success right there. That's the note we're going to end on for sure. So, should put some mini cardboard buildings around him. That is actually a good idea. Maybe. I'll see if I can, put something together to post on Facebook at some point. Although the backlog I have for miniatures I've been intending to put on Facebook or Twitter is getting extensive. It's another clutter. Anyway. Cool, I'm going to call it here, guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight and hanging out with the paint and chat. I hope you guys got some stuff that you wanted done. And thanks for the movie chat. I'll never turn that down. Good seeing you, Joel. I appreciate you popping into the channel, and all you folks for being here. So I will be back in 2 weeks. So I'll be post-birthday sometime in April, and maybe the weather will be less fickle by then. We'll see. So you guys have a wonderful evening, and take care out there.